Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all-Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
You must learn the ways of the Force.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Relax, stay on target, and enjoy the show. Hey Star Wars fans, welcome back to another episode of Rebel Watch. I'm Ez, and this is Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Super.
That's good to hear.
I'm collecting my thoughts at this moment.
Our lives have been forever changed. Mike's especially.
Yes.
We just got done watching Battle of Endor, and it's life-changing.
It was.
What'd you think, Mike? Was it better than Caravan of Courage, or...?
No.
No, it's not.
There were a lot of Yuuzhan though.
There were a lot of Yuuzhan, that's correct, or Marauders, but Mike kept referring to them as the Yuuzhan.
It's because they are.
They look just like them.
They do.
Sort of.
Everything about them.
Yeah, they really do kind of look like
Yes.
Yuuzhan. So, to the 160-some people who watched the first, Caravan of Courage, we hope you're watching this.
Yes.
And we hope that you'll take away a couple things.
Yes, come on.
Okay. Cindel is alive and well.
She is.
She makes it
God
through the
bless her
Battle of
heart.
Endor.
Yes.
Okay. But we're going to take you through what happened in this episode of the Battle of Endor.
It's very important.
It's interesting. There's an old sage, an old Jedi.
Yes.
There's a very fast creature named Teak.
We saw a lightsaber.
We saw a lightsaber. We saw a kyber crystal.
Yes.
Red kyber crystal. We saw
The Yuuzhan.
The Yuuzhan. My gosh, we saw so many different things.
A lot of references.
A lot of stuff going on here. So, all right. So to start off, so after Caravan of Courage, the town, are they called Tawanies?
Tawani.
Tawani, Cindel, whatever, her family, so Mace and her mom and dad, they're still at the Ewok Bright Tree Village and hanging out with Deej and Weechee and Whittle and all those folk.
Having a good time.
Having a good time,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they get attacked by marauders. Terrible.
It's a very violent opening scene to this movie.
Yeah, it was, actually.
I don't think it's kid-friendly.
It's not, no, it really was not.
No.
Mace dies.
Yeah.
Mom?
I forget that part, but yeah.
Mace dies, mom dies,
Might have cheered.
and dad dies. Like,
It's heavy stuff. And
right out the gate.
And Cindel witnessed everything.
She did. She really did. It was
It's terrible.
It was awful.
It's terrible.
So, and a lot of the Ewoks were captured. I don't think it was all of them. That would, there were definitely. It seemed like there were fewer Ewoks in this. The village is much bigger, as we know from Return of the Jedi. But, anyways, they some of them were captured and they were taken to this abandoned castle where the Marauders were. They were taken back to King Terak,
Terak, whatever you want to call him.
Terak.
That sounds good.
And they were searching for a power source. They collected, I guess, from the crashed space cruiser that Cindel's parents had. They got her power supply. They got the power supply, and they were trying to unleash its power. They kept referring to someone known as the Star Traveler.
Yeah, I think that's what they called him.
The Star Traveler or the Star...
I think it's Sheev Palpatine.
I think it was too. The Marauders were looking for some way to unleash this power, and so they had a witch among them. I'm going to call her a somewhat of a Sith Lord.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know really.
Maybe like one of those Nightsisters.
Nightsisters. She might have been a Nightsister. There we go. That's a good call.
Yep.
And she was trying to hibbity jibbity, la da 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 da, whatever, abracadabra.
That was the spell.
I think that's what she said. And she was trying to open up the power supply and get the power from it, so they could use it, and the Marauders could, learn how to travel the stars. Okay, so interesting. Along the way, so the Ewoks are being transported from the village back to the castle.
Yep,
right?
They are.
And the two littlest ones, Cindel and Wicket, were able to slip down in between the Ewoks had help them get free of their cage, I guess.
Yes.
And so they were small enough they weren't detected, and they slip off into the woods. They come across this creature named Teak.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of Teak?
He looked like Alf.
He did.
He
really-
terrified me because he looked like Alf.
He actually is he's probably the best part of the movie, to be honest with you. He's funny, and his facial expressions are good and super fast. I mean, he has this super fast speed.
Oh,
He's just
yeah.
real quick. He's like bouncing around really fast.
Yep.
But he leads them back to this hut.
He does.
And as soon as they walk in the door, as soon as Cindel and Wicket walk in the door, you can see just off to the left, if you look real close in the lower left-hand corner, you see a double-edged lightsaber.
Yes, you do. And by God, if you
Man.
don't believe us, go watch this movie.
Go watch it for yourself.
That is the shaft part
Yep, it was
of
right
a
there.
double-edged lightsaber.
Yep.
There is no way around it.
No, it was. I had never seen it before, and Mike was like, "Is that a lightsaber?" And I was
Yeah,
like,
had my eye on it.
"Why not? Of course, it
Yeah,
has to be."
it's. I mean, that's. Yeah.
So, anyways, they're there. They're cleaning up. They don't think there's anybody there. Teak can't really communicate. He can. He gives facial expressions and gestures, but he doesn't speak their language, and so they can't really communicate very well with him. Noah, this old man, grumpy old man,
They say a wizened old man.
wizened old man, shows up, and it's actually his place. And
Did it remind you of Yoda's hut?
it did
a
remind
little
me
bit?
of like sort of a Jedi in hiding.
Yeah.
Is kind of what it reminded me of.
Did.
Perhaps a Jedi who had escaped Order 66.
Exactly.
You know, and
Yeah. No, I
right.
absolutely. That is
That's
what happened.
Noah is. I mean, that might not even be his real name. To
Yeah.
be honest with you, it
Oh,
could have
it's
been something
definitely not.
else.
It's definitely not.
It's
I'm
definitely
sure Yoda went by an alias at some
I
point.
mean,
on
he
Dagobah.
had a staff. You know, he was several times. We'll talk about his Force abilities later on in this. It was
Yes.
very interesting.
Yes.
So, so anyways, they're getting to know each other, and at first, Noah's really ticked off. What are you guys doing here? Get out of here! He throws
Yep,
him out.
he
You
does.
know,
Yep.
but at the same time, he's a big softy, and they had cooked some nice food. And he's yelling at Teak. He's like, Teak, don't you? I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna fix this fire. Don't
Yeah.
you dare go out there and give these kids any of this
Don't
food.
do that.
You know, and he put the idea in Teak's head,
He
so
did.
Teak would go out and do it.
He did.
And then the kids come back in, and they end up talking and warming up to each other, getting to know each other. And he just hasn't, had anybody. He lost a friend.
Yeah.
What's his name? Salak or Salak.
That's right. That's right.
And he crash landed on this on this planet, on this moon, and his friend went out searching for a power source and it never came back
Never came
years
back.
ago. So
Oh,
so
vanished.
sad, vanished. Yeah,
vanished. We did tell everyone we were taking him through the whole movie, right?
it'll be in the description.
It's in the description.
title.
So
Yeah, spoilers. So Cindel and Noah kind of bond on the fact that she lost her family and what have you.
Yep.
Anyways, back to the castle. The Ewoks are imprisoned, and King Terak, the witch, is not able to open up the power source, and so, they're like, all right,
find someone who can.
find someone who can. And so she thinks the little human girl can open it for her, so she turns herself into a crow, which is apparently is a Force ability that I didn't know
I didn't see that
had-
in Clone Wars, but I
I-
think that's a Nightsister ability.
It's starting to make sense now in Rebels, all the birds that are flying over top of Ezra and Kanan.
That's actually a great call.
I'm really starting to wonder.
That's
Also, I'm taking another look at those puffins on Oct 2.
Yes.
All right. Am I onto something?
The Birds of the Force.
Something.
That could be a whole essential Birds of the Force book.
It could be. There's something up.
Watch out, Pablo.
Force sensitive beings.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So anyway, so she tracks him down and she's calling to Cindel in the woods. Cindel hears the song that her mother sang, and she
How'd that
drifts
song
off.
go? Do you remember that
It
song?
was there is a star far away in the galaxy. Come and find me now. So that
was beautiful.
That was great. That was the song.
You say it just like she did
That-
because there was no music accompanying her.
It was nothing.
It was terrible.
It was bad. But so anyways, we hear this song and Cindel goes into the woods, and that wasn't the song, by the way.
No, that was beautiful. That was it.
I tried,
Nailed it.
So she slips off into the woods, and Wicket wakes up, and Cindel's gone. He gets Noah.
He's freaking out.
They get there just in time, right? And they see her. The witch is taking her away.
And the witch.
There was a unicorn.
Yeah,
we need to mention. Sorry,
as some beautiful, all dressed in white.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
With a unicorn, with a white unicorn.
Right. There was a unicorn in the background.
Yeah.
Everything except for the horn.
No, it had the horn.
It might have had a horn.
It had the horn.
Did it really?
It had the horn. It was a little small. It had a horn.
My God.
Yeah, it's the small details.
Oh, wow.
It was a unicorn.
They spared no expense in making this.
They really didn't.
That's for sure.
They really did not.
So Noah goes back and he's like, all right, we gotta go get Cindel, and he gets Wicket. They go back to get their gear, and he puts his old cloak on. All right, puts
Grabs
his old
his
cloak,
staff.
grabs his staff, and
Leaves
his
the
pack.
lightsaber.
Takes his blaster though. He's incognito. I mean, at this point in time, if he were to reveal that he was a Jedi,
Yeah, can't do that.
Darth Vader would show up, and old Palp would have found him, and
He would, he would have
been in
sent
trouble.
him on Endor. Yep,
So
I agree.
he couldn't reveal all of his force powers at that
true.
time. So
That's true.
he left the lightsaber behind, and he takes his staff, and he works his way towards. He tracks him in the woods.
He does.
Wicket actually uses, I believe it's a force smell at some point.
Yeah, because
to track him down.
Because Noah loses them
Yeah, he does.
because he can't hear the song anymore.
Right.
And so
exactly.
so Wicket gives a little
Man. And then they were able to find him.
Back
He tracks
on the
him.
trail.
He back on the trail. And so they get there, and this is where things really start to kind of heat up. So you get a little flash inside. They're talking to Cindel goes before King Terak, and he's like, telling her she has to unleash this power and show him how to use it.
She has no idea what they're talking about.
No clue what they're talking
you
about.
just plug it into something.
Yeah, you just plug it in. And I thought I set you up for a that's what she said joke.
Oh, that's what she said. Yep. That's dang it.
Sorry,
been
that's
watching
been
a
Mike's
lot of
theme
Office
lately.
lately. Dang it, that was a good call.
sorry,
You should have
my
just
bad.
ran with that one.
My bad.
And then
It's okay. I was getting tired of it, so I don't know why
And
I
it's
brought it back
back.
up. Oh god. So Cindel gets put away. He says, "You have till dawn to figure
dawn,
this out."
yeah,
And so she goes in there with the rest of the Ewoks, and they actually imprison the witch too, and they take her red kyber
crystal ring.
Yeah, take it
Yeah.
away from her.
Yeah,
And so she goes in there, and Noah shows up, and
he does.
this is where he starts.
Wizard himself.
This is where he starts using the Force. He's got this grappling hook.
Yeah,
And I mean, at first, just to be again, not too many force powers, he shoots it across with his
does.
blaster,
He does.
right?
Uh-huh.
And then he hoists up. Teak goes up there. Wicket. They get over the wall.
Yep.
We'll make a long story short.
Yep.
But I think it was his force perception to see the moat.
It absolutely was.
I mean, he saw the moat, and right, Wicket was just going to swim across.
He knew something was in
There was something dark in there, and he knew
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
How?
Put a little stick in.
Yeah, put a stick in there, and it tore it up, and it was So there was something in the moat, and he perceived that, which
right.
was interesting.
It was.
So they get over the wall, and they're working their way around. They use Teak and his speed to get the keys to distract people.
Yep.
So
Maybe some force use there. By
I think there
Noah.
was a couple of times he seemed to wave his hand like that, and everyone would turn.
Yeah.
And
A distraction.
yeah, I don't know.
It reminded me of Obi-Wan in the
did.
Death Star.
It did. That's exactly where I was going. It really did. Obi-Wan just motions with his hand, and next thing you know, what was that?
Yeah.
What was? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So and then it allows Teak to maneuver around. They actually get this massive Jedi cloak.
Oh, yes.
It really, when they're coming through that doorway, it actually looks like Return of the Jedi.
It absolutely
When
does.
Luke is coming into Jabba's palace,
It was an old Jedi cloak.
it was an old Jedi cloak. It seemed like that maybe his friend Salak was also
Maybe
a
knew
Jedi.
Obi-Wan.
Maybe they knew Obi. I don't know.
It looked like Obi-Wan's robe.
It did.
Maybe he picked it up from the Death Star in Episode 4 after Obi-Wan dissipated.
He was there. Yeah. He was,
Noah was
or
present.
he stole it from Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar.
He probably did.
Because Darth Vader kept that cloak.
You think so?
He did. Yep.
Oh,
I believe he did.
okay,
And his
okay.
lightsaber.
Interesting.
So anyways, so they're moving through the castle. They get in there, and these two marauders are like playing this game, and Teak slips in one of the cards in the guy's sleeve, and it pops out, and they hop up and shoot each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
thinks he was cheating.
they both just kill each other right there because they were cheating at cards.
That might have been the
ridiculous.
Force.
That could have been the Force as well. So they get everybody out of the cages, Mike, and they're working their way out. And the worst thing that could possibly happen is that all the Ewoks pick up the blasters.
They pick up all the blasters. They start hooting and hollering.
Yeah, I mean,
And I remember
calm
Ez just
down.
yelling out, "Can you guys just keep it down?" Because the king Terak,
Terak, yeah, he
hears them.
He does, and so there's so much for sneaking out. You know?
And then, like you said, they have the blasters. Worst possible thing that they could
making
have had.
so much noise
Yeah.
and just But I mean, they came in handy at some point. But Deej and Wicket had the blasters.
Deej is the only one that could shoot.
He's the only one. Wicket had a couple good shots, but then his kicked out.
That's true.
At some point.
Had
So
a jam.
they're making their way out, and they're about to. They're stuck. There's no way to get out of this castle.
No way.
They're blocked.
Yep.
And out pulls Noah pulls out a detonator. Or a
like
charge.
a grenade of some sort.
And he puts it on the wall, and he's like, "Well, we'll make our own way out of here." And boom, blows the.
Could have been the
wall.
Force again, but
Again, he's masking his ability to use the Force,
that's
right?
true.
And this is where there was no way of getting around this.
No.
He takes out the grappling
Desperate
hook.
times call for desperate measures.
He had to call upon the Force.
He did.
Did you see him? He almost just kind of like he held it and he looked at it.
He did.
And then he hauled back and he tossed it through the hole across on some other pillar across the moat.
Yep.
And hooked the first time. He was like, "Whoa, look at that. First time."
First time. And what did you say after
He's
that?
like, "Lucky
Ez?
toss." I was like, "Or a Force toss?"
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it was. He
No
tossed
beating
it.
around that one.
No, it was absolutely. He played it off like, "Oh, don't look here, guys. It was just a nice toss."
That's right. Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
a Force toss.
It was very subtle. But
So, and then they zip line, so the Ewoks start zip lining across the moat, and they get out of there, right?
Yep.
So they haul off, and we're gonna kind of cut to the end here now.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
Run
a lot
off
of
towards
chasing,
the forest.
a lot of chasing and stuff. They run into the forest, and they start setting up the classic Ewok traps. They've got the catapult. They've got there's traps around. We forgot to mention this actually.
Yeah.
Back in the beginning, at one point, Cindel and Wicket sneak off, and they figure out that Noah's working on a star cruiser.
Yeah.
Starship. So we forgot about that.
Yep.
He has his own where he crash landed, and he's working on it. And so they go to set up the final battle right there around his ship.
Because the Yuuzhan are coming.
They're coming
into the forest.
They're coming into the forest. They're chasing
The whole
them.
army.
The whole army runs out of that castle, and and it's not a big army, but it's decent size.
Sizable.
Yeah, it's pretty good
I
size.
mean, but 5 Ewoks take them. So
yeah, I know. And
Not
it's like
that
the whole
big, I
village
guess.
couldn't take them before, but
yeah,
they were surprised.
That's right. That's
So
right. That's
this
what she
time,
said.
they were
yeah.
they were
yeah, that was bad.
That was bad. They were laying in wait, and they used their bow and arrow. By the way, they're lethal with those bow and arrows.
Every shot to the
Every shot is in the heart or the neck, and it was pretty.
Those are some dull-headed arrowheads too. Did
Yes,
you notice
they
that?
they must have a lot of
Had
torque
to
and force on that.
Hurts so bad.
Yeah, I mean it
Just
just
like
sunk in there deep though.
I guess, man. That
Also,
was,
they hauled back and threw some spears and stuff, and I mean
they rolled some
some
logs.
Yeah,
down on
they
them.
rolled some logs, and every Yuuzhan marauder that they killed, they picked up their blaster. And it
did.
just got the tide started turning.
It was just everyone was wielding a blaster at that point.
Yeah, at that
Things were
point.
getting out of hand.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It
Every
was
Ewok had a blaster. It's like, oh boy.
I'm
So-
keeping this, and I just
Yeah,
put
and
it in
why
their little
didn't
pouch.
they keep them? They should have had.
I bet they did, man. If they make another Ewok movie, which I'm sure they will, they're going to be wielding blasters this time.
Well, they're therapists now. I mean, but
Well,
a
you
part
never
of
know
them-
when you might just have to.
Sometimes you know
pull a
you,
blaster at therapy.
you back an Ewok in a corner, man, and
Oh, he'll double wield a blaster. You. I mean, just.
oh my gosh. So they anyways, the battle it's breaking down. All the marauders are retreating, and Wicket gets sort of what happens to Wicket? He gets actually the leader, King Terak.
You should also explain before you get to that part that they take the power source.
They did. They took the power source, the power supply. They got that out of the castle.
right.
That's my bad.
Noah knew what to do with that. They took the power supply with
Good
them,
point.
and then they go and Noah. You
Fires up
forgot
his
one
ship.
of the most important force uses in the ship.
Wait, what?
Remember when Noah
forget.
it puts the charge in? He's flipping all the switches and all this and that, and it's getting to a
Oh
point where
my
we've
gosh.
gone 5 minutes where
Right,
Noah's
right.
attempting to start this thing up.
Right. He can't figure it out. Yeah.
And Cindel's just like, they're on the other side. They're really coming around. And what does he do?
He goes, I forget what he says, but he just motions with his hand up like this.
He just says okay, and he whips his hand up.
Yeah, it's something like start now, turn on, engage, something, and it just
Everything
turns on.
on.
Didn't touch a switch.
Nope.
Not a thing.
That was
Literally
the
just
force.
went like that with his hand. Whole thing turns on.
Yeah.
You know, the Ewoks are manning the turrets.
That's right.
Teak is running the side gun.
Yeah.
It was insane. And they start shooting. And also, that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
The blaster fire is blue.
It is cool.
So
very cool.
that's a whole other thing. You've got green blaster fire from the Imperials. You got red from the Rebels.
That's right.
And then you get this blue blaster fire.
That's
It's pretty
right.
cool. So King Terak, everybody's leaving, and he sees Cindel. He actually sees Wicket is in trouble. Cindel goes out to try to help him,
Bless
and
her
then
heart.
he grabs Cindel. King Terak does.
Yes, he does.
And he calls out to Noah, and he says, "Hey, Noah, it's the girl for the power source."
Yes.
So Noah brings the power source outside,
Mm-hmm.
and he lays it down between him and King Terak,
Uh-huh.
and he says, let her go. He says, "Let her go, and I'll fight you for it."
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "Holy cow!"
And he does.
He does, and I mean, he looks like, and he just uses his staff. King Terak's got this big, massive Marauder sword, and what'd you think of that fight? I mean,
In all seriousness, one of the coolest parts of this movie is when the king wields his sword and goes to strike down Noah, and
Yeah.
his sword literally goes through a tree.
it does actually, and that wasn't like pre-set up.
No.
You can tell full tree.
Yeah.
If Noah doesn't duck, his head is coming off.
Gone.
I mean, literally, and it cut straight through a tree. I was like, wow, back in the day,
Yeah.
I mean, they were hardcore about the fight scenes and stuff.
It was a real sword.
It's like you either get down or there's,
Mhm.
we got insurance for a reason.
That was a huge risk for that actor playing Noah.
Yeah.
I felt like he was going to get stabbed at any moment.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But he had his staff
did.
and he wielded it.
He did.
And he
Ooh,
struck and he struck and he
That's what she
and he
said.
dodged and he moved and it was just it was something to behold. And so they're fighting, and at one point he gets a little bit of help from Teak, and he gets a little bit of help from Wicket. Wicket actually, the Ewoks are so precise in their
Yes, they
aim. We just can't stress that enough.
That's right.
King Terak is wearing the gold
Oh, yes.
the red Kyber
That's
crystal.
Right. I forgot about that.
And I mean, basically David versus Goliath here.
Yeah. Because he
Wicket,
took it from the.
he took it from the
Witch.
witch,
Yeah.
right? He let her turn into a crow to track him down, and then he
Yep.
took it away from her, and so she is forever a crow on Endor, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Need to look for her in episode 6.
She's probably around, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
So, but old David with his sling, he just,
Yep.
he's got one rock, one sling. He slings, shoots that bad boy off. It hits the Kyber crystal, and boom, it explodes, and it just it turns King Terak into a stone.
It does.
Like a pillar of salt or
Yeah.
a stone statue or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
And I believe he's there to this day.
Yeah.
So
They're all going to be gathering around it, maybe chanting.
Yeah.
All the Ewoks.
yeah,
Celebrating
it's
every
a
year that victory.
memorial for yeah. So,
Yep.
anyways,
Yeah.
that's kind of the end of the battle. There's a takeoff scene that's just depressing.
It's very sad. Everyone's crying,
Everyone's
which that's
crying.
understandable,
Yeah.
but it's just
Cindel's real upset.
you didn't feel good about it. It looked like a really sad exit, like of ET.
It really did, actually, especially
Everything
when the ship
about it.
fires up and it's taken off. I mean, it
The
really
door closing right in Cindel's face.
Yeah.
It looked like ET.
it did. It really did.
They were taking a little bit from that.
So they wave their goodbyes, and the ship
Yep.
just takes off, guys, and
does.
it just
Best graphics of the whole movie.
It really was, yeah. And I believe they end up later on. We were doing some reading, and they end up on a Middle Rim planet somewhere.
Middle Rim.
Cindel ends up becoming a journalist, and she has several good leads and sort of draws attention to different things in the galaxy later
Bless her
on,
heart.
and becomes a journalist. She also becomes the mother of Rey.
That is canon.
I can't believe you threw that out there.
I think it's spot on though.
There's something to it. She still has a role.
Yeah.
I would love to see what if they bring her back.
Please do.
Bring Cindel back into The Last Jedi.
Lucasfilm, please bring Cindel back.
What if Laura Dern is playing Cindel
It's totally possible.
in this new movie?
And they're keeping it under wraps.
Real tight,
Yep.
Gosh,
That's what she said.
that's what she said. She did. She says it all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So I don't know, Mike. What are your thoughts? It wasn't as good as
Not as good. I
Caravan
did
of
enjoy
Courage.
it though, because at first I didn't think there were going to be that many Force references, but then
we can find them. They were there. There's
all
probably some we
day.
missed.
all day. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean the lightsaber and the kyber crystal,
The unicorn.
and the unicorn. It just that's the Force, man.
It's the
And
Force.
it's thank you to Disney for tying all this together for us now. It all makes sense.
Yep.
And that's the only reason we can even make these speculations. It just all makes sense.
It all does make sense. It really does. So the kyber crystal and it being corrupted and turned red by the nature of that witch is just very interesting. So
That's right.
there's so much. But we held off on doing Battle of Endor because it just wasn't as good as Caravan of Courage. But we thought we'd give it a go. I've seen it multiple times. Caravan of Courage is my go-to though. Back in the day,
Absolutely. It will
It
also
still
be
is.
my go-to.
right? It's so
In
it's
the
so good.
future.
The walking stick from the Force tree.
So many Force references.
Wicket is given.
Ridiculous.
So, anyways, guys, it's a pretty quick one for us today. But let us know what you think of Battle of Endor. Did you ever watch these movies when you were growing up?
Yeah,
I mean,
hope so.
The next thing that Mike and I I had stumbled on back in the day, but I was like, I never really watched it. It's all on YouTube though. Is the animated series of Ewoks
We are
in the
watching
Bright
that.
Tree Village. So I've seen a few episodes, but I thought, man, I'll just tear through the whole thing
It's time.
and see what it's like. So.
It's time.
Yeah. We also have some more surprises coming up for you. We're going to watch Droids. I think there's 1 through
Yes.
13 episodes, which is
Yes.
just Paul McCartney's little singing his little, what was that? He did the song for that. Isn't that him in the beginning? Not him. Was it somebody
I
else?
don't know.
We'll double check that. I
Yeah.
could have totally made that up.
Look it up.
But anyway, so we're going to there's some really interesting stuff in that. If you haven't looked up, no, actually, I'm not going to say it yet. Sorry. There's something I got to.
Oh, spoiler.
There's
Oh.
something I know Star Wars Explains watches this.
Yes, come on.
Stupendous Wave.
Come on.
Star Wars HQ.
Come on.
Rebel Scum.
Do you think they're watching right now?
I think
We're just
the
a modest
We're just a
podcast.
modest podcast.
They're
You're
probably
right.
not watching.
They're probably not watching. But I don't want to say something and spoil. I got some. Mike and I came across, and actually my friend Matt found some really interesting things that we're going to bring to light here very, very soon.
Yes.
So I don't want to mention anything, and then somebody go,
Yeah, I can't have anyone
hop on
jumping
our-
on that because
yeah.
that's going to get a lot of views.
Well, it also just we'll save it. It's going to tie everything together later on.
agreed,
So
agreed.
stay tuned. That's coming. But again, let us know what you thought of Battle of Endor. Your thoughts, your memories, the first time you watched it. If you haven't watched it and you want to go watch it right now, that is a grand idea. Go watch Caravan of
Grab
Courage
a Mad
first.
Tree psychopathy.
Yeah, bunch of have your
Maybe
choice of
6.
poison. Yeah, and then go watch this with a friend, and then
Yep.
come back on here and leave us a comment. Let us know what you
Right.
think. So
Or post your own review of
post
Caravan
your
of
own
Courage.
review.
and
Yeah,
we'll
we'd love
definitely
to see
check it out.
We'd love to. So.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more content. And as always, excuse me,
Yeah.
may the Force be with you.
Hey, Star Wars fans, hope you enjoyed this edition of Rebel Watch. If you did, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you'd like to become involved with this podcast, please go ahead and check us out at patreon.com/Rebel Watch. Thanks.